Shamans. My name is Jody and I'm the Goblin Girl. I'm a 43-year-old gaming girl and I'm here to show you how to get into gaming no matter what your age. In this video, we're going to go over the Shaman class, the different kinds of specializations Shamans have, and some of the abilities I use most on my Shamans. So let's get into it. As you can see here, I'm currently playing on Tesla, which is my current Goblin Shaman. I have actually a couple of Shamans because it is one of my favorite classes. And Shamans have 3 specializations. They have Elemental, which is a ranged damage class specialization. Enhancement, which is a melee specialization. I can't talk today, I'm sorry. And then Restoration, which is a healing specialization. So we'll go through each of them. We'll start off with the Enhancement Shaman, which is the melee version. Their primary stat, as you can tell, is agility. They can use axes, maces, and fist weapons, and they dual wield. So what that means is they have 2 weapons in each hand all the time. So if you'll see when I unsheath my weapons, which you can do by pressing Z on your keyboard, you'll actually see she's got like an axe thing and this other thing, which are like fist weapons, kind of like Knuckles, but not really. So I'm currently in Orgrimmar and I'm on top of the Valley of Honor, where there are some training dummies. So I'm gonna kind of start attacking, and you can see she's got some things that are building up here and kind of we call it procking or just kind of happening randomly on their own. And if I actually use some of my abilities, and I'll go through them in just a minute, you'll actually notice that the abilities go through and hit the thing. So, you know, if I walk away a little farther, I can't actually do any damage. So an Enhancement Shaman, and actually all Shamans, just in case you haven't seen the first video where I talk about the different classes, Shamans are an elemental class. So they use the elements in order to do damage. So you'll see, for example, one of my abilities is Storm Strike. So it actually does like storm damage. See that cool lightning effect. And then I have Lightning, which is actually a lightning, you know, it's lightning bolt. I have a Fire effect, which is Flame Shock, which is also a damage over time. As you can see, it's kind of ticking up over above the training dummy's head. I have Lava Lash, which is a cool like lava damage type thing, which actually really works well with the flame piece. And then again, lightning, you have chain lightning, which is, you know, for multiple. So if I cast that, you'll see it'll attack all of the things that I'm currently near. I have a thing called crash lightning, which actually is really nice for when you have multiple enemies around you. It'll do this cool AoE effect, and then it also, what else does it do? Yeah, it deals some nature damage, and if you hit more targets, it actually increases your weapons and causes other things to do damage as well to everything in front of you. So it's a pretty cool ability. So if I hit this immediately and then hit Storm Strike, you'll notice it's actually attacking everything around me, not just what I'm attacking now. So that's kind of a nice complement when you use them together. Okay, and then I also have Feral Spirit, which is a cooldown type ability. So it's gonna, I can only use it once every minute and a half, but when I do, you'll notice 2 wolves will actually come out and help me attack whatever I'm attacking. Which the wolves are kind of cool because they look different depending on the type of wolf that happens to come through. And you'll see this is only going to last for a few seconds. It'll eventually go away. See, they're gone. And then you have Earth Elemental, which will actually summon an Earth Elemental, and it'll protect you and your allies for 1 minute. It's kind of a short-term tank. These elementals actually share cooldowns. So if you have multiple elementals, you can only call one at a time. Okay. Now, as a Enhancement Shaman, I can also use some of the similar abilities that I actually use on some of the other classes. So for example, I can use Lightning, which is really a ranged attack. So you'll notice if I'm out here and I cast Lightning, it casts far away even though I can't actually attack the creature. That's actually an Elemental Shaman ability. Healing Surge is a healing ability, and when I cast it, it's going to heal me or my target, which is kind of a nice ability. Earth Shield is from one of the talents that I happen to pick up. That's another healing ability. Wind Shear, I said it right, interrupts the target. So if they're casting a spell, it'll do a nice quick interrupt. Healing Totem is another talent ability that I picked up, and it just kind of randomly heals me as a player if I'm happen to be damaged. And you'll notice the Goblin Totems. So the totems are kind of a special thing that spawn these little totems around your character that live there for a short period of time, and every race has their own look and feel for totems. So goblins kind of look techie because goblins are kind of techie. Just part of why I like goblins is because they look kind of cool. You also have Chain Heal, which allows you to heal yourself and others around you. Cleanse Spirit, which basically removes curses, which is kind of useful. Frost Shock, I really can't talk. Both does damage and slows your enemy down, which you would expect on something that's a frost ability. Purge, so Cleanse Spirit removes curses. Purge Spirit will remove magic. So it's kind of nice. Tremor Totem basically makes them shake and fright kind of near you. That's another one of these totems that I was talking about where they kind of look pretty cool for goblins. Again, every race has a different one. Then you can remove movement impairing abilities, which is a nice thing to have. Astral Shift it's another cooldown effect. This makes you take less damage. So if you're, taking a lot of damage, you can hit this and your character kind of becomes a little translucent and allows you to not take as much damage. Really nice, if you're getting surrounded by a lot of characters and you really need enemies and you're kind of dying. Earthbind basically is a totem that will make everything around near the totem kind of slow. So you'll see this has an interesting impact. I think it's slowing down. Yeah, it slows the movement speed. Let's see. Capacitor will explode, so kind of stuns all of your enemies. Wind Fury will have an increase. You basically get another attack for every time you have it. You just get a random chance to do a random auto attack, which is kind of nice. Those are goblin abilities. And then Bloodlust increases haste by 30% by all of your party members. And this one also has a long cooldown. It's a 5-minute cooldown. But if you use it, and I'll show you when I use it, it gives every character that's in your group or raid the sated debuff, which means even though you can recast this in another 5 minutes, it actually cannot impact your character for 10 minutes. It's because it's such a powerful thing. You'll notice, I'm doing a lot more damage very quickly because I now have this buff associated with me because it's such a powerful buff, because your haste, which is one of the key stats in this game, is how fast you're killing things, how fast you're attacking, how fast your spells, there's a cooldown associated if it goes faster or not. A lot of that is associated with your haste. So haste is a really important ability. Also kind of makes your character grow bigger, which is pretty cool. Let's see, make sure. Hex will basically transform an enemy, which I can't do in this enemy, but it will basically turn it into a frog, so they can't attack you. They'll just kind of run around. If you attack them, though, it often breaks the hex, so it's kind of a dangerous thing. Another really important ability as a shaman is water walking, and you can actually walk across water for up to 10 minutes. You can just keep casting it. if you do get attacked, it will clear out that water walking ability, but that's very useful, especially if you want to go fishing. You can go out to the middle of the ocean and fish without worrying about, having to figure out how you're going to stand on the ocean, which is kind of cool. And then enhancement shamans also have the ability to basically enhance their weapons. So the two that I use the most are Flame Tongue, which will causing each of your attacks to do more damage because you are suddenly, it's surrounded by fire. As you can tell, this weapon is surrounded by fire. And then Wind Fury weapon, which gives you basically the ability to trigger extra attacks. Again, very similar to the Wind Fury totem. It allows you to do more just general auto attacks quicker. So those are most of the things. Some others you can do, again, these are not attack abilities, but they're very useful. You can turn into a ghost wolf, which will increase your movement speed, and it actually does it up to 30%, currently, at least at max level. It may change depending on your level. And then you can also do Farsight, which just kind of lets you look really far away. So if I do this, you'll notice, I'm now looking at this area over here, and I can actually see there's my character way over there. It's kind of a fun ability. I don't really use it that much. It might be useful in some raids, I could see, but most of the time it's just it's a cute ability. And then you also get a lightning shield by default, which will surround your character with electricity, like this little ball of electricity that's kind of floating around my character. That will actually do damage when somebody attacks you. Let's see what else. Because you again inherit some of the abilities from the healer side, you can resurrect characters. So if somebody dies, you can actually resurrect them. You also have something called Astral Recall, which lets you basically do an like an Earthstone. Instead of using Earthstone, you can use this, and it's a faster time frame. So normally it takes about 20 to 30 minutes for an Earthstone to recharge. In this case, you have only a 10-minute cooldown, which is kind of nice. It lets you get around a little faster. Let's see if I've missed any other abilities. Crash Lightning, Feral Spirit, Spirit Walk. So I think those are most of the abilities from enhancement. And then, like I said, for talents, I tend to take the Lashing Flames, which increases my damage of Flame Shock on its target. Hot Hand, which gives me the ability to reduce my cooldown for Lava Lash, so I can do that faster. Earth Shield lets me heal myself. Elemental Assault increases Storm Strike damage. Nature's Guardian basically get healed if your health, instantly heals you for 20% if you get down below 35%, just kind of nice things. Crashing Storm is the thing that lets you be able to attack things around you, I believe. Electrical Field behind which damage enemies, yeah. And then this reduces the cooldown of Feral Spirit, which is the cool wolf thing. So again, you can read through each of the different talents, but these are the ones. And for every class, one thing too that I should note is that on the left-hand side, all of these are always passive. So if you don't want to have to worry about taking extra abilities or extra things to have to find a place for, as you can tell, your ability bar does get rather full. You could just take everything on the left. So it would give you all passive things that are going to increase you, but may not be the best for your class. I tend to kind of pick and choose based on what I kind of want to do, but everyone's different. So feel free to look around and play with some of the different abilities and see what kind of things you like. So next, let's go to the Elemental Shaman. And again, you just click into your specialization that you want to do and click on Activate, and you can do this anytime you're actually out of damage, out of combat, when you're not getting damaged. Alright, so I'm going to bring over some abilities that I don't currently have on my hotbar. Let's see, General Shaman abilities, walk Water walking I don't have for some strange reason. Purge. You can tell I don't do this I haven't used elemental a lot on this character, so I don't have all the abilities set up straight. That's fine. Oh, another really important ability of all shamans, before I forget, is rebirth. So if you die, I thought I had rebirth. I thought it was called rebirth. Maybe because it's reincarnation. I'm sorry, reincarnation. If you die, you can actually resurrect. You can, resurrect yourself with 40% health, and you can do it every 30 minutes. So if you die, you can actually quickly resurrect yourself, which is a really cool thing. Now, where is it going? Nope, not there. Here. Elementals, instead of using the two-handed, they use a mace, dagger, and a shield. So hopefully I have those. Let's see. I do have a shield. And yeah, that's better. It just didn't like the fact that I had something in my left hand. So you use a shield, which helps both protect you and also can increase your intellect, stamina, etc. So now elemental, yeah, I know. And see, sometimes when I'm playing around and testing things, I will just go down the left-hand side. You can change your talents in any rested area, so I can go ahead and play around with this as much as I want to or not. So it's kind of a nice thing to do. Yeah, I know. I have PvP talents too, which I don't PvP at all, so you won't hear a lot of PvP videos from me. But so I just pick whatever talents because I'm not actually caring about it. Now, elemental shamans have a special ability pool, point pool, which is called, what is it actually called? Let's see. It should tell me. Maelstrom. Because of, the Maelstrom. Which is this kind of under the world area where all of the elements kind of reside. So it's like basically you're building up elemental energy. So if I cast lightning bolt, which is the same as you had with the enhancement shaman, you can see it's slowly starting to build up this extra resource. And I'll show you what happens when I max it. It will let me cast additional abilities because some of these abilities require Maelstrom. So like Earth Shock requires 60 Maelstrom and Earthquake also requires 60 Maelstrom. I'm just going to go all the way up because why not? Okay, and I actually spawned the ability. So now if I do that, I can cast Earth Shock, which as you can see, again, these spells are really cool. They look really neat because they're very fiery. They're very elemental type things. So your main ability on Elemental Shaman is Lightning Bolt. That's just kind of what you cast in between everything else. Then you have Flame Shock, which allows you... Sorry, things are procking. They're, as things go on, you have the ability to kind of gain the ability to cast certain things like Lava Burst fast, and I'll explain that in a second. But you have Flame Shock, which just is another DOT for Flame. It's the same as it is in Elemental. Then you have something called Lava Burst, which you can cast up to 2 times, again, depending on, I think, your talents. It will do a large amount of damage because it also has a slower cast time. But you'll see that did 2,100 points of damage versus my Lightning Bolt is only going to do, that one did pretty well. But if you have Flame Shock on, your Lava Burst does more damage too. So that's kind of part of it. But those are your main attacks that you use on Elemental. If I was close enough, I could also do Primal Strike in case something does get up to melee with you. You can have a melee ability. But most of these look the same. The Fire Elemental, you have that instead of the Earth Elemental because it's more of a damage dealing, where the Earth Elemental is more of a tank. Spirit Walker's Grace is going to basically allow you to move around. So now I can actually move around while I'm casting some of these spells instead of having to stay in one spot, which is very useful because sometimes there's mechanics in a boss fight that is not going to let you move around. Earthquake does a nice AoE damage, so it's going to impact all of these creatures instead of just one, which is really useful when you're shot. When you're in a situation where there's multiple enemies around you, chain lightning is the same. So it does have a lot of the same abilities as the enhancement shaman. I totally forgot the name of that for a second. Wow. But the difference is that it doesn't it's not quite as up close and personal. You have to kind of be further away. You want to be further away so things aren't going to attack you as much. All right, then the last specialization that we're going to talk about is restoration. Restoration is the healer class, so you generally don't want to go around attacking things when you're in this class, although you can see I do have some attack spells set up, and the attack spells I'm going to have set up are going to be the ones that are ranged because you want to be further away if you are attacking. Let's see. No, don't do that. But I don't have any of the actual healer abilities. So Healing Rain is an AoE heal. So I'm actually going to go somewhere around here. There is a healing training. Where are the healing training? There used to be a healing training. Maybe not. Ooh. Go away. Well, we're just going to target this grunt. So Healing Rain allows you to cast a large area where anyone that's standing in that area will get healed. Ancestral Vision will return your entire group. So if everyone dies in your entire raid or your entire group, you can use Ancestral Vision and it'll resurrect everyone. Healing Tide is a large healing. So you'll see it actually does a pulsing and kind of an AoE healing instead of just a single healing. Healing Wave is a pretty efficient heal, which means it heals for less mana, but a decent amount of healing. So you kind of generally will cast this as your main heal ability, so that way you're kind of, and I'll talk more about how to heal things in another video, but in general, this is your main heal. Mana Tide Totem will basically see how my mana is going down pretty quickly. Healers tend to use mana very quickly. If I put this down, it's going to quickly increase my mana back. Riptide will do a heal over time. So instead of a DOT, it's an HOT, which is a heal over time. So this is healing 180 every X amount of seconds. And then Spirit Link Totem does another thing as well. And then Water Shield also helps your mana regenerate. What did Spirit Link Totem do? So that's kind of Restoration Shaman. So those are the three main specializations for Shaman, and those are some of the abilities that I would use. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Thank you for watching The Goblin Girl, where we like to get you into gaming. Please like and subscribe to learn more about gaming. I appreciate your time, and I hope you have a great day.